Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 2 of the 100% Racing Series takes us to the Autódromo José Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo, Interlagos, Brazil. It was Big Boss Bells who started the season as he ended the last with victory in Bahrain. And can he carry that into what is expected to be a wet start here in Brazil? If you did join us on the previous stream just a moment ago, we do apologise. We didn't have a formation lap for the first start, so we are going to do a formation lap just so that drivers can explore the conditions before the race does get underway. So just a quick rundown on qualifying. So Q1 started, there was some spinners, including Big Boss Bells, who spun a couple of times, and some other guys were getting used to the rain, but Vamo came out on top in Q1. He was the fastest in that. In Q2, as Winfield crashed out, and Eckhots and Vamo taking P2, because at the end, Quick Killer went onto the Inters and went fastest, and on to Q3, which happened to be a good session. Everyone had good pace, including Vamo, who set a 1 minute 14.9, and people thought he'd done enough to get onto pole position. Then Big Boss Bells came in and went P1, and then out of nowhere, Ginge set a 1 minute 14.8, and so he'll start on pole position there. Once the formation lap begins, we'll have a rundown on who lines up where for the start of this Brazilian Grand Prix. So everyone's starting on full wet tyres. So Ginge will line up on pole position, ahead of Big Boss Bells. Ahead of him, then it's Vamu and Max making up the second row. Then it's Wild Dog and Quick Killer on row 3, followed by Maze and Page on the 4th row. Then it's Eckhots and Winfield who line up next to each other on row 5, followed by Fragile Tunnel and Gameful Odds in 11th and 12th spots. Terades and Rosie are on the 7th row, followed by Leclerc and Zika Zubu. Exotic Alpha and Jackson make up row 9, and then at the back it's Leppy and Liverpool Fan. So just having a look at the calendar for this season, the Dunbar Rain tonight is Sao Paulo. Next week it will be the Red Bull Ring in Austria, followed by Baku in Azerbaijan. Then it's the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on the 11th of September. Then it's Spa in Belgium. And then the last race of September will be in Australia on the 25th. And then in October, we've got 3 rounds remaining, including Spain on the 2nd. And then the final 2 events on the 9th and the 16th of that month will be on DLC tracks. Now, whether they'll be Imola, Portimao or Jeddah, we'll find out closer to the time. So Big Boss Bells won round 1. In fact, he's won each of the last 3 races. He won the last 2 in season 1 at Silverstone and the Red Bull Ring, and he's also won in Bahrain. So can he make it 4 in a row here in Brazil? He's got a good chance of doing that from second on the grid. So Ginge on pole position. He finished 4th last time out in Bahrain after starting 11th on the grid. Can he convert that into a 4th place, into a race win possibly? Now with the conditions, it's going to be a wet start, as you can well see, and then expect to be brightening up for later on. So race strategy is most definitely going to be crucial, because you do lose quite a lot of time in the pits around here at Interlagos, but not as much as you would do in wet conditions. And so all 20 cars are coming to the grid now, just waiting for one of the Red Bulls to come in. That will be Leclerc, who will take up 15th spot on the grid. So you can see Big Boss Bells just eagerly waiting for those 5 red lights to appear and get the jump on Ginge at the start of this one. So we go then. The 5 red lights come on. When they go out, we'll be racing here at Interlagos. It's lights out and away we go. Big Boss Bells has got a slightly better start than the Alfa Romeo of Ginge. Can he go down to turn 1 into the lead? No, because the Ferrari of Winfield, or Vamo I should say, gets down the inside of both Ginge and Big Boss Bells to take the lead into the Senna S. So Vamo in front in the Ferrari. Then it's Ginge in second place, followed by Big Boss Bells and Max, who go side by side with the Aston Martin of Quick Killer as they go towards the Descida de Largo and the Retro Aposta. And so through turn 4 they go. and it's Vamu in the lead. The leaderboard is currently glitching at the moment, so what you're seeing is not the correct leaderboard. It's updated itself now. So Vamu leads, Jin second, Big Plus Bells third. Then it's Quick Killer, Max, Winfield, Wild Dog, Mage, Jackson and Leclerc. So Jackson making up a lot of places already from the back of the field. He's already got himself up into 8th place as he dives to the inside of Maze into turn 8. And now he's right behind Wild Dogs as they come towards Big de Pato now. The Haas diving to the inside of the Alpha mode. Great move there from Jackson, who gets past Wild Dog to go up into 7th place. He's made a good ground already on lap 1. So Vamu, 1 second clear. There'll be no DRS because of the conditions. So Vamu in the lead. Ginge behind in 2nd place, and it's Big Boss Bells in 3rd position. So who's gained what from their starting spots? Well, Jackson's made up 11 places from 18th to 7th. Leclerc up 5 places from 15th to 10th. We've got Rosie in the pits for presumably front wing damage to the Alpine. So she's got a lot of work to do from there. It's a long way to go at the moment still. As Vamu comes towards Decida de Largo. And then up the hill. And towards the S, and then Pinarino. And then Biga de Pato. And then Magulio, Yunsao, and then Subida dos Boxes is the last complex before those kings before the pit straight. So Vamu pulling out a good margin so far. He came close to the victory last time out. Had he not been for his penalties, he would have most certainly been in contention for the victory. So he's leading this one already as he looks to find the best grip possible. He's doing so in the Ferrari. Completing lap 2 now. And Vamu with a new fastest lap, but the lap times are most certainly going to come down as the race unfolds. Someone's had an instant set to 3, and Leclerc's gone round in the Red Bull. And we've got a virtual safety car already now, because Leclerc has ripped off his front wing and has left over debris there. So the virtual safety car is required. He wants to just take it easy as he gets into the pit lane and continues to keep spinning. Leclerc needs to slow down as he goes into his box, and he continues to speed too much and he gets a penalty for it. So Leclerc out of the race already, decides to go no further, and so ends his race in the pit lane. Vamu just adhering to the delta at the moment. So Vamu out in front. And we're back underway now. No one was penalised at the end of that virtual safety car period, so we are good to go. Vamu 1.1 seconds clear of Ginge, who's in 2nd place. Big Boss Bells is under threat from Quick Killer. As we watch Jackson and Winfield go toe-to-toe as well. Is Winfield going to make a move down the inside into turn 1? The answer is no. So Vamu in the lead with Ginge 2nd. Which is what's the full fun go into battle with Gainful Odds. The exit curve of the Soul. Can he make a lunge down the inside? He can into Decida de Largo. There's a bit of contact. There was enough room for Liverpool Fan to get by. So Liverpool Fan up into 13th place. Unless Gainful Odds has a say on that. As they go side by side into turns 6 and 7. I think the house is in front. Gainful Odds goes off the track. So Gainful Odds off the track there in the AlphaTauri. And he loses time and places. think he had to back out a bit at that point, to be honest with you. And Gainful Odds. Even the slightest of contact, and he was going to go skating off the racetrack. Someone has gone off. Is that Gainful Odds again? It is. It's just spun on the exit of turn 9. Continues on though. Jackson with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 20.7. So the drivers begin lap 5 out of 71. See a lot of standing water still around, and Gainful Odds continuing to go for a spin. Wild Dog gets the first penalty of the race for exceeding track limits, which will go to his time at the end of the race. So Ginge closing in now on Vamu. He's clearly got more confidence in his Alfa Romeo than Vamu does in the Ferrari right now. Biggleswell's Bell's not taking too many risks at the moment. As we watch Jackson close up behind the AlphaTauri of Max. Watch Exotic Alpha in 10th place. And Vamu. And Ginge coming out of the Sunarest and through Curva de Sol. And then down the Reto Aposta straight, before they do get to Descida La Lago. And Jackson finding a way through around the outside. Does he do it on Max? He does, and Max spins! Max goes off the track, so another AlphaTauri goes off, but doesn't lose as much time. He has lost 3 places in all that. So Max rejoins in 8th behind Wild Dog. Exotic Alpha has been penalised for track limits. So that's 3 seconds going to his time at the end of the race. And so Vamu and Ginge exit Yunsao. Exotic Alpha getting in front of Teray to go up into 9th place. Now is there going to be a change of lead here as Ginge goes into the pits now? Is this going to be for intermediate tyres, I wonder? It's early in the race. I would imagine the majority of the field are going on to intermediates. And Quick Killer gets penalised for speeding in the pit lane as well, so that will be 5 seconds going to his time for his next pit stop. Ginge has to wait a little bit there as rejoins just in front of Big Balls Bells. So Ginge rejoins behind Sega Subo. I think there's someone else coming down the Senna in Curva de Sol. That's Liverpool fan. So Ginge rejoins in 6th place. This is on the better tyres now. We're at the crossover point between full wets and intermediates. There's Vamu, who will want to be in the pits at the end of this lap. He's trying to find grip anywhere he can right now. Gainful Odds comes into the pits for AlphaTauri. So Big Balls Bells and Ginge have got past Liverpool fan now, so that's the difference in terms of the pace advantage of being on the intermediates and the full wets right now. Does Vamu come into the pits? He does so. He needs to slow the car down in time, which he does so. And with there being not as much traffic in the pits on this lap than last time, Vamu should get out without losing any time. There he goes. But he's going to lose the lead, I think, to Ginge, who's coming down the start-finish straight now. Coming towards the Senna S as Vamu rejoins the track. He needs to be careful as he goes through this narrow pit exit. And he's lost first and second places now to Ginge and Big Balls Bells. So Vamu rejoins in 3rd place behind the McLaren as Quick Killer looks to get in front of the Ferrari. So he goes towards the Cida Largo. So Ginge takes the lead then of this Brazilian Grand Prix. Big Bobs is second, and Vamu, by staying out a lap longer, has lost him a couple of positions. There's Rosie in 17th place. So Ginge exiting Yunsao, 1 second in front of Big Boss Bells. It's Vamu who'll be on a lap fresher intermediates. Then those around him. Ginge posting a new fastest lap. I'm going to say that Jackson now has the new fastest lap. He makes the lunge down the inside of Quick Killer into turn 1. Does he get the move down? Still going side by side. And Quick Killer, I think, got penalised actually for track limits there. Oh, and Vamu's off! Vamu's gone off on the exit of Curva de Sol, and he's lost even more time now. Now, does Winfield get ahead of him going into the Cida Largo? The answer is no. So, all the drivers are on intermediates now, but Vamu's lost 2 more positions by making a mistake. So Jackson up to 3rd place then in the Haas. I don't think Jackson was involved last week, so he'll be wanting to get some points on the board here today. As we watch Big Boss Bells, who's in 2nd place, championship leader of course. Knows there's a long way to go in this one. Goes into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo, goes to the outside. He seems to have more confidence in the McLaren than Ginge does in the Alfa Romeo. And so he waits behind. Someone's gone off in sector 2. It's one of the Alpines. It's Rosie, who's not having a good race so far. Continuing to have spins, and she loses even more time. So Terade loses a position to Max. Max gets through and then to go up into 9th position. Lappy's also got in front of Paige to go up into 15th place. And Rosie into the pits. Now, is that her calling it a day? I wonder if she's got front wing damage, to be honest with you. Yeah, she's in need of a new front wing, so she really could go down a lap by the time she exits the pits. So the race leaders come round towards turn 1 as Rosie exits the pits. Big Balls Bells goes to the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Ginge holds his line. I think Winfield's in the pits actually. Has he got front wing damage, I wonder? Yes, he has. He's got front wing damage. So the Ferraris are struggling so much in these conditions right now. So Winfield is going to fall out of the top 10. And Rosie did manage to get in front of the leaders, but she's going to get the blue flag. So there you go, look, there's a blue light ahead of her. So that's obligatory that she needs to move over unless she can step up the pace, which she's not quite doing at the moment. Now she'll need to move out of the way, otherwise she'll end up getting penalised by the stewards. There you go, there's another blue light. That's at least 2 blue lights that she's gone through. No, her car will be ghosted, but no, she's still not moving out of the way. I suppose she'll be on fresher tyres than the leaders, but she's holding them up by the looks of things. And now Jackson's right behind the 1st and 2nd place drivers. Vamu with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 18.2. Jackson gets on the power a little bit too much though, coming out of Curve of the Soul. He keeps the car pointing the right way as we watch Big Boss Bells thinking about a move on Ginge. Probably did that to put the Alfa Romeo pilot off. And Terrades now gets a time penalty for track limits as well. Only 4 drivers so far have got time penalties. They are Quick Killer, Exotic Alpha, Wild Dog and Terrades. Now some of them will be able to take that penalty at their next pit stop. Exotic Alpha and Quick Killer will be able to. They will take 5 seconds of theirs. But the track limits ones will stay with them permanently until the checker flag. So Rosie, after holding the leaders up, oh, Big Boss Bell's nearly losing it there. And the same with Jackson. Now Rosie needs to move out of the way here now, which she does so. And Quick Killer will also follow suit and get past. Quick Killer's having a good race so far. To stay in touch with these guys. So you can see all 4 in a straight line there as the drivers begin lap 13 of this Brazilian Grand Prix, I should say the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, as its 2021 race will be staged under that title. So Ginge coming towards sector 1. That's his best first sector of all the laps he's done in this race so far. And it's not going to be too long before we'll see dry tyres being used. Winfield posts a new fastest lap, 1 minute 18.1. He's down in 15th place behind Leppy. So the rain has stopped. Now, given the nature of the circuit, I can imagine the circuit's going to dry out ever so rapidly. The DRS has not been enabled yet, so the leaders will want to stay out there for at least 1 more lap before they do decide to come in. So Ginge goes into turn 1. And Ziga Zubu has been penalised as well for track limits. 3 seconds it will be. And Winfield seems to be on a faster lap time than before. And there we go, another new fastest lap. I think that's the same time as what he set the lap before, so I think he's on fresher intermediates than the leaders are anyway. Now, will Ginge decide to pit in this lap? And Jackson approaching Big Boss Bells as they fight over 3rd place. We just see Gainful Odds coming into the pits for a change of tyres. I can imagine he'll go onto a set of either soft compound or mediums. It's a medium compound he's going on. And the DRS has not been enabled yet, but it has now. So the time for dry tyres is right now, to be honest with you. Exotic Alpha coming into the pits to get soft tyres on. So the leaders are going to be losing out a little bit, as those will be getting their soft tyres into their window. They're going to be a lot quicker by this point now. So there's Fragile Tunnel, who's it's coming. Oh, Jackson dives to the inside of Big Boss Bells into Bica de Pato. He briefly took 2nd place and then just went a bit too deep into the corner, and Big Boss Bells got back through again. Ginge runs wide a little bit at the exit of Magulio. And I think the leader's going to be pitting at the end of this lap. Big Boss Bells nearly losing it as they go up the hill. They are all into the pits now. They need to slow down to the 80 km pit lane speed limit. And Vamu doesn't quite do that. He gets penalised for speeding. And through all this, I don't think Exotic is going to take the lead. But he'll be right in there with the leaders. There's a mixture of strategies going on here now. Now, they don't have to use at least 2 different dry compounds. That rules out of the window now because it's been a wet race. I think Ginger's going to retain the lead here. Big Buzz Bells will still be second, Jackson third. Vamu is now fourth because Quick Killer's had to take a penalty at his pit stop, and that allows Exotic Alpha to go through and up into 5th place. So Quick Killer on the mediums, Exotic Alpha is on the soft compound now. It's just 2.5 seconds behind Vamu, who goes wide at turns 6 and 7. And now we'll go to the battle for the lead here because Big Buzz Bells is right on the tail of Ginge, as is Jackson. They're both on the softs. Ginge is on the mediums. So that explains the pace advantage that the McLaren and the Haas have over the Alfa Romeo. Now Ginge is surely going to be a sitting duck here when Big Buzz Bells and Jackson are going to have DRS, although having said that, Jackson Big Buzz Bells are going to be fighting amongst themselves as well as trying to get past Ginge. So here we go then, on the start finish straight. Big Buzz Bells is going to go to the outside into turn 1 on Ginge, and a brilliant move around the outside has allowed the McLaren to go into the lead of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Then it's Ginge in second place, and it's Jackson behind in third. Rear wing open on the Alfa Romeo and the Haas because they were within a second of the McLaren at the detection point on the exit of the San Andreas. Jackson goes to the outside. Wheels banging, Jackson goes off track, but Ginge keeps hold of second. Jackson's going to have to really fight for it here. There's Vamu in 4th place. It's almost like being unmapped actually by one of the Alpines. Can't recognise who that is. That'll be Rosie, who is running in 17th spot. You can see the sun coming out now, as you can see Jackson, who's now in front of Ginge. So Jackson past the Alfa Romeo and up into 2nd place. That's crucial for his race. We know that they're going to be pitting again. Ginge can go on a longer stint on the mediums. Big Buzz Bells posted the fastest up of the race, a 1 minute 9.5. Exotic Alpha takes that away in the Mercedes, a 1 minute 9.5 for him. So the fastest up is currently his. As we watch Max, who crosses over the line, it's a 1 minute 10.2, so that's nowhere near the fastest up of the race. And Big Buzz Bells now gets a time penalty for chat limits. So that's 3 seconds coming his way, and the same for Vamu. So Big Buzz Bells has got a lot of clear track in front of him now, so he needs to use that to his advantage and pull away from the rest of the field. Ginge nearly losing it coming out of turn 9 there. Perlarino is the name of that corner. As we watch Parades and Wild Dog go toe to toe over 10th place. And now Exotic Alpha is going to be all over the tail of the Ferrari of Vamu in a moment, because he's going to have DRS on the start finish straight. Vamu struggling so far on these mediums. Now Big Boss posts a new fastest lap. Exotic Alpha has now got a new fastest lap, 1 minute 9.3. Right on the gearbox of the Ferraris. They go through the San Andreas. Through the curve of the Sol they go. And surely Exotic Alpha is going to get the job done here. DRS open on the Mercedes. The Ferrari goes defensive to the left. The Mercedes goes to his right. And the Mercedes gets past and up into 4th place. So Exotic Alpha doing brilliantly on the dry tyres. Vamu is very much struggling. So Quick Killer in 6th on the mediums. He's on trouble at the moment as Max is 9 seconds behind him. So Vamo struggling to get the power down, coming out of Yunsao. I don't know if it's a setup issue for these cars. Some of them thinking more about dry setups and others were thinking more about wet setups. Jackson posting a new fastest lap, by the way. He's now within a second of Big Boss Bells as they go through the Retro Aposta. Now Therese gets a penalty for track limits as Jackson continues to close in on Big Boss Bells ahead as they fight over the race lead. Just 3 cars lapped so far. They are Rosie, Gainful Odds and Fragile Tunnel. Both the Alpines at the back of the field. They have had a race to forget so far, but it's not over yet. And the top 15 score points in the Formula Racing League. 40 points for the race winner, it's 32 for second, 26 for third, right the way down to 15th place. The 15th place finish will get 1 point, and there's also 2 points up for grabs for the driver who gets the fastest lap in the 100% Racing Championship. So rear wing open on Jackson's car. It's not going to be close enough to have a go into to see the Largo, but Exotic Alpha's just got in front of Ginge though for third place. Ginge is fighting back as they go towards to see the Largo now. And Exotic Alpha has made his way through. And Ginge gets a penalty for track limits. So that's 3 seconds going to his time at the end of the race. Oh, Vamo's off! He's off into the barrier, and that's surely the end of his race. Well, he's ripped off his front wing. I wonder if he got caught out by one of the back markers who was trying to unlap him. But either way, he has lost even more time. He's fallen down to 6th place, and he just needs to get the car back to the pits now. Leppy's out. Leppy's crashed out on the exit of turns 4 and 5, and we have our first safety car of the race. So Leppy, who was a podium finisher last week in Bahrain, is not going to finish this one. So the safety car is out, with Big Boss Bells coming into the pits, as is Jackson, Exotic Alpha, but Ginge stays out, so he'll be the one catching up to the safety car. Quick Killer also deciding to make the switch, and this has come to Vamo's rescue, to be honest with you. So Ginge is forced up to the safety car now. Oh, he's out! Ginge is out! I think he's been disqualified for overtaking the safety car, going far too quickly. So Ginge is not going to finish the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. What a terrible mistake there by the Alfa Romeo. A really bad mistake, a very rookie mistake, to be honest with you. He knew he was catching up to the safety car, as he was the race leader, but it just got in too quickly. So that's the third driver out of this. We're on lap 22 out of 71. I think Rosie's managed to get back onto the lead lap now, actually, so should be able to catch up to the rest of the field. Gainful Odds and Fragile Tunnel will have to wait behind because they've got Jackson and Big Boss Bells ahead of him. He's so desperate to get in front, isn't he? But the game doesn't allow the back markers to get through. They should do, to be honest. As Fragile Tunnel comes into the pits for a change of tyres. Vamo's back in the pits. What's this for? Does he want to get another set of tyres on, or has he broken off his front wing somewhere? I think he's broken off his front wing again. So Vamo's race goes for... Oh no, there's no new front wing. Oh, there is a new front wing. Vamo continuing to fall down the order. He's down to 14th place now. What is wrong with him today? I do not know. But Big Spell Spells is in the lead then, with Jackson second, and Exotic Alpha third, ahead of Max. Then it's Rage and Quick Killer. Seekasubu, Maze and Liverpool Fan are next behind, and Winfield in 10th position. So will the safety car choose to come in at the end of the lap? I don't think the whole field's caught up. So it'll go around for one more lap. And Exotic Alpha has gone for a spin. What's happened? He's gone off track. So from third place, Exotic Alpha has gone off the circuit. And he's down to 11th place after that. That's a bad error there from the Mercedes driver. And that promotes Max up to third place then. So Big Boss Bells will be looking to go as far as he can on his mediums. Can he go to the end of the race on those? I can imagine he can. Those on the soft compound will be thinking on their feet in terms of when they're going to be coming in for another set of tyres before this race is over. Well, Vamo's been penalised for making contact with Page. And has he ripped off his front wing again? I'm not too sure, but he won't have done the car too much good. Now, considering he's gone into the barrier at such high speed, has he got floor damage or side pod damage to his car? Not too sure. He's going to leave himself with an awful lot of work to do between now and the checker flag. So Big Boss Bells will back up the field. The safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. And Big Boss Bells will dictate the pace, and he'll be ready when he needs to do so. He can't back them all up yet because the safety car lights are still on, which means he can't exceed the 10 car length rule. But he can now though, because the safety car lights are off, which means he'll be ducking into the pits at the end of this lap. So Big Boss Bells backs the field up. Oh, there's contact! The Red Bull goes round there. I think that was the Liverpool fan who ran into the back of him. Was it Maze? No, it was Maze that ran into the back of him. And he's got a penalty for it. So Seekasubu, from 6th place, goes to the back of the field. And Big Boss Bells still backing up the field at this moment. And he hasn't gone yet. But he's gone now. We're back on the way here at Interlagos, with Max in 3rd place behind Big Boss Bells and Jackson, as we watch Quick Killer go toe-to-toe with the Williams of Terrades. There's Gainful Odds just moving out of the way there, as he knows he's a lap behind. Another fan going to the outside there of Maze, who gets through on him. I think he's got front wing damage, to be honest with you, after the contact he's had with Seekasubu. And Exotic Alpha in 9th place as he looks to get through. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. Rosie gets in front of Vamo briefly. And Vamo's continuing to go backwards at the moment. He is struggling. Oh, and Rosie going wide there as the Red Bull of Seekasubu gets past. And now we're coming up towards the end of lap 25. Big Boss Bells still leads. Winfield going to the outside of the Aston Martin of Quick Killer into turn 1. Can't quite do it there. So he'll have to wait behind as Exotic Alpha gets in front of Mazed into 8th. Now who's gone off at turn 1? Is that one of the Aston... Oh, it's one of the Alpha tyres. It's Gainful Odds. Who's a lap down? And if race goes from bad to worse from there. So Big Boss Bells is ahead of Jackson. Bummer gets in front of Wild Dog to go up into 11th place. So Jackson behind Big Boss Bells as they go through Beacon of the Pato. And Wild Dog goes for a spin, I believe. Oh, he's got front wing damage of some sort. Oh, he's gone into the barrier there, look. He's hit the wall on the exit of turn 9. But it's continued anyway. Now, can Jackson get in front of Big Boss Bells? On this occasion, the answer is going to be no. We'll watch Winfield as he gets into the slipstream of the Aston Martin. As they go down towards turn 1 they go. Winfield not quite getting the job done there, so he stays behind the Aston Martin. Another fan fancying his chances. And Winfield gets past the Aston Martin to go up into 5th place. And Wild Dog into the pits for Alfa Romeo for a change of tyres. Goes onto a set of the soft compounds. Jackson making a mistake there. In fact, has he got in front of Big Boss Bells? I think he has. So Jackson gets in front of Big Boss Bells to go into the race lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. He must have done so with DRS on the exit of Descida de Largo. He's through either way. Now Big Boss Bells looking to get back through again. He's got a lot less ERS than Jackson has, but Big Boss Bells wants that lead back. He goes to the outside into turn 1. Does he make it? They go side by side. And Eckhart is out of the race because he's crashed on the exit of turn 14. There's his car wrecked there. Look, he's in a dangerous spot. Now, the virtual safety car hasn't even been deployed for that. So, I think that may well be dealt with under wave yellow. So we can see Winfield getting past Teray to go up into 4th place. No problem there for Winfield. Is doing well on the restart. Vamo up to 9th place by passing Mazed. So Eckhart, the latest to exit here at Interlagos. Rearing open on the McLaren. He's got so much more straight line speed than the Haas. He's going to go to the outside again as they go through turn 1. Now, does he get through the air? The answer is no. Jackson holds him off. And Max is closing in whilst these two have been battling. Rearing open on the McLaren. He's used up all his ERS. He can't quite get through it to see the Largo, so he stays behind. Therese gets back through on Winfield. Whilst I've been saying that, he gets back into 4th position. Although can Winfield fight his way back? The answer is no. Terades holds position. Good racing between those guys. Liverpool fan having a better time of it here at Interlagos they had done in Bahrain. Liverpool fan, I think he finished, I think it was 14th where he ended up last week. It was talks about, no, he ended up 9th in Bahrain. He's currently in 6th place and he doesn't have a penalty to his name at all. So he's got a chance of a good haul of points this evening as we watch Winfield. And Big Boss Bells is through. So Big Boss Bells gets back through on Jackson to go into the race lead again. But Jackson's going to have a lot more ERS usage than the McLaren before they go down to Descida de Largo again. Here we go, look, Jackson using the DRS. Is the McLaren going to go defensive? The answer is no. Wild Dog gets penalised again in the Alfa Romeo. Level fun. Sees a gap there. Does he go for it? The answer is no. And Exotic Alpha waiting behind to make a move himself. And Liverpool fan's pace shows as he's got at least 6 laps fresher soft compound tyres than Terades and Winfield and Max, which is helping him a lot. Now Jackson using his ERS to close back in on the McLaren. Rear wing open. Won't get past him from there. Van gets in front of Therese then. Now does Exotic Alpha follow suit? The answer is yes. He's also through. Now Wild Dog gets a penalty for corner cutting. He's gone off track at turn 8. Now does he continue from there? Because he's... No, he doesn't. And Vamo's out. So Vamo's crashed out on the exit curve of the Sol. I was just going to say Wild Dog did continue. But Vamo's race, his messy race, comes to an end on lap 31. So 2 of last week's podium finishers are out of the race here in Interlagos. You know, Big Boss Bells is the only podium finisher from Bahrain to still be in this race. Matteo van Botsel just coming in saying what happened at the first start. Well, basically, there was no formation lap, and with there being so much carnage at the beginning, the decision was taken to stop the race after only a few laps, so you didn't miss anything, Matteo. So into sector 1, Quick Killer gets in front of Terade as well, who's gone off. In fact, they've come together. No, in fact, it's Maze and Terade who've come together. And Terade has got damage to his front wing, and I can imagine Mage will have the same damage to his car as we watch Page go through into 10th place. Wild Dog's in the pits, or he's just come out of the pits. I think he's a lap down now on the leaders. They may not be, actually. Yes, he is a lap down. So I was right first time. Maze gets a time penalty as well for chat limits, 10 seconds. And so Big Buzz Bell still leads with Jackson in second place. So 15 drivers still running in this race. You just watch Exotic Alpha going to the inside of Winfield to go up into 4th place again. And he gets through. So after that mistake under the safety car, Exotic Alpha has got back up into 4th position. This is excellent stuff from him. Although is Winfield going to come back with the DRS? Well, he's using the DRS, but he's not going to be close enough to have a go from there. So Winfield drops down to 5th, Exotic Alpha up to 4th place. So Jackson right behind Big Balls Bells. But he's got a time penalty for exceeding chat limits, so Jackson gets the same penalty now as Big Boss Bells, which means Max, as it stands, he would take the race victory. So we've still got the second half of this race still to go. Exotic Alpha getting penalised as well. I think he's on 6 seconds now. He is so. And Therese and Maze in the pits for new front wings. And they'll fall down to 11th and 12th places. Moldog continues to get penalised as well. So you can see the top 6. Relatively close actually at the moment. As you can see, Big Boss Bells fending off the Haas of Jackson behind him. We go through turn 4, otherwise known as the Cedar de Largo. Scalper is doing a fine job on these mediums that will be in better condition now than those around him who are on the softs. He's still got some ground to make up on Max. So Jackson right behind Big Buzz Bells in the battle for the lead. Probably just wait for the pit stops to happen. Will they decide to pit in again? They may not do. It depends if we get another safety car or not, I suppose. So Rosie, who was at the back of the field at the beginning of the race, and managed to unlap herself whilst the safety car was going on. Is back up into 8th place now. She's recovered brilliantly in this. As Jackson uses the rear wing. So his advantage goes back in on Big Boss Bells again. Can't quite do it there, so he has to wait a little bit longer before he can get in front of him. And Max is dropping back a little bit now. I think his soft tyres are pretty much second hand by this point. As Jackson all over the back. He's taking slightly different lines to what Big Boss Bells is doing. Maybe to put him off a little bit. Or to get out of the turbulent air. But he's in a good position here now. Look, DRS open. Well, not DRS open yet because he's using his ERS. Now he's using the DRS to pull alongside the McLaren as they go onto the start-finish straight. Who's going to break the later of the two? I think Jackson's going to have more confidence in his Haas than Big Boss Bells in the McLaren, and he goes into the lead again. So Jackson takes the lead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix again. Oh, he runs wide there, look, and there's contact! Wheel to wheel. So Jackson made a mistake through the curve of the Sol. It's now Big Boss Bells to get back through again. So Jackson down to second place, and that's allowed Max to close back in a little bit more. Gazubo gets penalised again for track limits. That takes his total to 17 seconds now. Far too much. And Jackson behind the McLaren. In gainful odds and Fragile Tunnel fighting over 14th place at the Retro Posta. Now, can Jackson go for it this time without error? Probably too far back to do it from there. He may make a lunge down into the inside of turn 1. It's off camber as well. Doesn't go for it there. ERS utilised. You can see the red light flashing on Big Boss Bells' car, which means it's halving energy. It's been put back into the battery. I think Liverpool fan has finally got in front of Winfield, so Winfield down to 6th place. Now behind him is an Aston Martin. It's not Quick Killer, it's Mays who's down a lap. He's going to be on better tyres than those guys actually, so Mays should be able to make his way through. So on lap 37, Big Boss Bells' lead 7/10, not out of DRS range, so Jackson will be able to use the DRS once more. This is going to be a brilliant fight for the victory. It's just what we wanted. If you have just joined us, we do welcome you. Do feel free to get involved in the live chat. And don't forget to leave a like and, of course, subscribe to the Tom Cairns official page. Jackson closing in now. And Exotic Alpha is now within a second of Max. Max's tyres are pretty much shot now, so Exotic Alpha should make his way through. So we've got 4 drivers, only 4 drivers that do not have a penalty to their names. They are Max, Liverpool fan, Winfield and Quick Killer. So Jackson not going to be able to go for it from there. Don't think Exotic Alpha's going to go for it on Max on this occasion. Winfield pits for Ferrari. So the sole surviving Ferrari pits in. Now what tyres is he going to go on? Is he going to go onto a set of mediums or is it another set of the softs? It's a set of mediums, so he'll most definitely go to the end of the race on those. Rosie goes past as a Seeker Subo. should rejoin ahead of Page without a problem. So Winfield will rejoin in 9th place as Jackson and Big Boss Bells continue to fight over the race lead. This is the kind of racing we've been wanting in the 100% Racing Championship all the way through. Now Jackson trying to find a gap. It's not quite there at the moment. He's got a great chance to get ahead of Big Boss Bells here now, though. So DRS open. And I don't think Big Boss Bells is going to fight this one too much. And Jackson gets through into the lead on lap 40 as they begin that now. It's Leicester Alpha through on Max. Whilst that was happening, I think Big Boss Bells briefly got back ahead there, but Jackson barges his way through and gets the race lead. So Jackson leads, Big Boss Bells is second. Someone's gone off in sector 2. It's to Raids, I think, in the Williams. He's got to be careful because he's got the leaders coming up shortly. And he'll want to make sure that he stays out of their way. And Liverpool fan gets his first penalty of the race for chat limits. And someone else has gone off in sector... Is that to Raids? I think it's to Raids. He's just getting out of the way. He's gone for another spin there, look. He falls behind Mays in 12th now. And he's down a lap. So Jackson nearly losing it on the exit of Beaker de Pato. And it allows Big Boss Bells to get to close back in on him again. Fragile Tunnel gets penalised once more in the Alpine. Now, Big Boss Bells. Can he get back through into the lead again? I think he's doing so before turn 1. And he's through. So Big Boss Bells into the lead of this race. Once more. It's almost like a game of musical chairs at the moment, the way the race lead keeps chopping and changing. And Jackson's fighting back down the inside as they go to Cesar Largo, and Jackson's back into the lead again. This is brilliant racing between these two. Rosie comes into the pits for Alpine. Now, what size is she going to go on? Is she going to go on to a set of softs or mediums, I wonder? I think she's serving some of the penalty first before the crew go to work. And Therese is out of the race. He's crashed out. Or has he just stopped out on circuit? We'll find out what's been going on there. I think he's crashed out. Yeah, he's crashed out there, look. And we've got a safety car. So Therese joins his teammate on the sidelines. We have our second safety car of the race. Now, what will the leaders decide to do then? Because surely Jackson, Big Boss Bells and Exotic Alpha are going to be pitting. So the top two pits. As does Exotic Alpha, providing he gets the car slowed down in time. I was just going to say, I think Mays came in. He should have just stayed out a little bit, and that's cost Quick Killer time. While Softies goes on the Aston Martin. May not have lost too much time, actually, so he'll be able to catch up. Seeker Zubro takes some of his penalty. That'll be for speeding earlier on when he was doing his last stop. Page also in for McLaren. She's had a clean race so far. I think a top 10 finish is on the cards for her now. Out she goes. The leaders are caught up to the safety car. Now Wild Dogs down a lap in 11th place. Mace likewise in 12th. Gainful Odds is down a lap in 13th. Fragile Tunnel comes into the pits. I suppose the good news for him is that the next three drivers ahead of him in position are also a lap down, so he'll be able to fight with those guys. Medium tyres going on. Jackson leads ahead of Big Boss Bells and Exotic Alpha. Winfield has stayed out on his mediums. I suppose he only pitted a couple of laps ago, so if we do get another safety car, he may decide to pit in for the softs, but that's down to him. So we're now on that 43, 29 laps to go. As it stands, with the penalties applied, Max would win this one, but there's still so much action left to come in this. Painful Lodge comes into the pits for AlphaTauri to get his tyres changed, and on go some softs. Can they get out in front of Fragile Tunnel, who's just coming down the start-finish straight now. Painful Lodge exits the pits, and he should rejoin ahead of the Alpine. And I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. So Jackson will be raring to go for it. Oh, he nearly lost control there at turn 7. Lost it all by himself. So the safe car, I'm just waiting for confirmation. It will be coming in at the end of this lap, and it is doing so. So Jackson will dictate the pace, and he'll go when he's ready to do so. So 14 drivers still left in this race. Who's going to come away with a victory here? It really is anyone's game now. Now Jackson's not quite gone yet. Ooh, he's almost deceiving the McLaren there, but he's gone now. So Jackson leads on the restart. I think Big Boss Bells has been penalised, although he may have a case later. So we're underway once more in Brazil. Jackson leads ahead of Big Boss Bells and Exotic Alpha, with Max in 4th, with Winfield 5th, Liverpool fan ahead of Quick Killer. I think Winfield's gone for a spin, he has! And so the Ferrari's gone for a spin on the exit of Curva de Sol. He's fallen down to 10th place. So Ferrari's race going from bad to worse, as Jackson maintains his advantage. Waldo's the next to go for a spin in the Alfa Romeo, drops down to 14th. So Jackson, he'll be looking to bridge out that 1 second margin by the time the second lap of the race is, of the restart is done. Exotic Alpha will be fancying his chances now. Right behind the McLaren of Big Boss Valls. Can he get past him at the end of this start-finish straight? New fastest lap by Exotic Alpha, 1 minute 9.0. And May's getting past Fragile Tunnel to go off into 12th. Next man up from him is Gainful Odds. So Exotic Alpha in 3rd place, Max behind in 4th. He wants to stay in touch with these guys because once the penalties have been applied, Max could end up winning this one. At the moment, he would not win it. It would be Jackson who would be winning this one. Coming towards the end of the second lap of the restart, Big Boss Bells needs to stay in touch. He needs to stay within that 1 second window. Rosie gets in front of Zika Zubo. Jackson with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 7.8. DRS now enabled. So Exotic Alpha will want to get on the rear of these guys as Big Boss Bells, who closes in on Jackson in the battle for the race lead now. Paige fancying her chances in this one. She's in 9th. She's done fantastic so far. There's your top 3 in your picture. Jackson in the Haas. Big Balls Bells in the McLaren. Exotic Alpha in the Mercedes. Seeker Zubo getting penalised. Oh, Big Boss was making a mistake there, Pico de Pato. And that nearly allowed Exotic Alpha through. But he's lost crucial ground to Jackson. And he's still within a second of him. They won't want to make too many more mistakes like that. And McLaren's still going to have a go back on him, but Exotic Alpha's going to be right on his tail there, look. Now Big Boss Bell's got so much more straight line speed as they go down into turn 1. Big Boss Bell's diving to the inside. Does he make it through? No, he doesn't! And he goes for a spin. So Big Boss Bell's, with his effort, it's backfired him. And he's lost 2 positions. Or 3 positions, I should say, because of that. And Seeker Supo's gone for a spin at turn 1 as well, so he's dropped back. That moves Paige up into 8th place. She's less than a second behind Rosie as well. So Exotic Alpha is the next to go after race leader Jackson. Now as it stands, with Big Boss Balzer's mistake, well, Jackson will still take victory. Max would be second. And Exotic Alpha, who currently has an 11-second time penalty, which is far too much. So he needs to get by Jackson as soon as he can and pull away from him. He does not want another safety car either. So he's going to go to the inside into turn 1. Look, rear wing open. And Exotic Alpha becomes the next new race leader. He takes the lead of the race. Can he pull away from Jackson? He won't be able to do that on the straight because Jackson's going to have the DRS. He'll have to go defensive as well. Doesn't do so, so he loses the race lead once more. Paige gets through on Rosie to go up into 7th place into turn 1. Mays continues to get penalised as well in the Aston Martin. In sector 2, Gainful Odds has gone for a spin, and so has Mays, so I think it was just getting out of the way. They both lost time and places, but we'll go back to the battle for the race leaders. Exotic Alpha, right on the gearbox of the Haas. He needs to pull away. Oh, nearly sent into the wall as well, so Jackson's manoeuvre there was a bit too late. Exotic Alpha will not like that one bit. But he's through for now. So I think Jackson's going to do what he did last time and get back in front of him again. By the time they do get to Desida de Largo, Rosie gets back in front of Paige in their fight over 7th. And the Aston Martin of Mays has gone for another spin on the exit of Yonsao. He's coming into the pits, is he? No, he's not. He's carrying on. Gainful Odds continuing to get penalised. 6 seconds he's on now. The contact there between the Haas and the Mercedes. Jackson just needs to be a bit patient here, because otherwise he's going to end up getting penalised again. So, Jackson right on the tail of the Mercedes. As it stands, he'll still take the race victory because Max is over 3 seconds behind him. Exotic Alpha, which way is he going to go? It stays to the right, which will allow Jackson the inside into turn 1. So, through he goes. And someone's gone off in sector 3. It's Wild Dog. He's had a really terrible race, to be honest with you. Exotic Alpha goes to the inside. And he's back through into the lead again. Brilliant racing we've seen today, it has to be said. And who's that? That's gone off. Wild Dog's gone off again there in the Alfa Romeo. And Jackson gets penalised again now in the Haas for track limits. Now, as it stands, he would not take the race victory because Max is within 6 seconds of him. So Max needs to step up the pace and close in on these guys, but the problem he's got is he's not going to have the luxury of DRS because there's no one within a second in front of him. So Jackson, rear wing open. Which way is Exotic Alpha going to go? Jackson to the inside into turn 1. Exotic Alpha leaves the space, and Jackson's through again. Someone else has gone off. And I think it's... Oh, you've got a virtual safety car. Got a virtual safety car now because Mays has ripped off his front wing. That'll be into the pits for a new nose. It's not a full safety car. He doesn't want to be going too fast under the VSC. Mazed. Neither do the leaders. We're back underway. So Mays enters the pits. Now, will this bring an end to his race, or will he decide to keep going? Either way, we'll go to the lead here because Exotic Alpha is within a second of Jackson. He'll use the DRS once more. Here we go. Jackson to the outside. In fact, Exotic Alpha is going to the outside. Who stays behind him? I've just been told Mays has retired from the race, so he's the 7th driver to leave this one. Too much damage on the Aston Martin. So Exotic Alpha closing back in again. Doesn't make it through. So there's Page in 8th. As Sega Subo comes into the pits for a new front wing. These obviously are coming together with someone. He'll remain in the top 10 because Gainful Odds is a long way behind him. In fact, it's over a minute behind him. Page gets penalised now for track limits. That's her second penalty of the race. As it stands, she would lose her 8th place to Winfield. He's 1 second behind her. Now it's Exotic Alpha. Can he get in front of the Haas as they go side by side into turn 1? And Jackson lets him through. I think he's going to do the old switcheroo because the DRS zone comes up next after the Curve of the Soul. Big Boss Bells gets in front of Max now for 3rd place. Jackson looks to get back through into the lead here as they go into the Cedar Largo, and Jackson's back through again. So the Haas in front of the Mercedes. This is brilliant racing. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you are as well if you are watching this. See the other battles going on behind. Winfield in 9th behind Page. Someone else has gone for a spin. It's Wild Dog again. He's hit the wall in the exit of Yun Sao. I don't know how he's managed to do that, to be honest with you. The leaders are coming up to lap him now for the 2nd time. So Exotic Alpha will have the DRS behind Jackson. As Wild Dog goes into the pits, he may decide to call it a day as we watch Exotic Alpha go to the inside of the Haas into turn 1. He's back through. So Exotic Alpha is through into the lead of the race. But he's picked up another penalty. 14 seconds worth now. So as it stands, he would most certainly fall behind Jackson, who gets back through ahead of him into the lead at Cedar Largo. I think he would stay in front of Big Boss Bells because Big Boss Bells' penalty is 6 seconds less, but the gap is 6 seconds, so Exotic Alpha would keep hold of 2nd position as it stands. He would fall behind Max. And I think as it stands, Jackson would win the race, Max would be 2nd. And in 3rd place, I think it will be Liverpool fan. We'll have a look to see when the penalties do apply. It's going to pretty much change the complexion of the race, no question. Someone's gone off in sector 2. It's Wild Dog who goes for yet another spin. So exotic alpha to the outside into turn 1. Doesn't get through that. So he waits behind. Jackson gets to the curve of the soul. Rear wing open on exotic alpha's car. And exotic alpha, Wild Dogs go for another spin there. And Quick Killer gets his first 3 seconds of the race. He's done well to get through to lap 55 without a penalty, but now he's got one, I'm afraid. So lap 55. Gap is half a second. And Wild Dog's out of the race. He's crashed out on the exit of turn 14. And we've got another virtual safety car, but it's now been upgraded to a safety car. Wow, another twist to the tail. So Wild Dog's exit has caused yet another safety car situation. I hope he hasn't crashed on purpose, to be honest with you. This part's in a dangerous area as well. Exotic Alpha stays out though, as Jackson enters the pits. Now Big Boss Bells does the same, as does Max and Liverpool Fan. Now what does Quick Killer decide to do? He also decides to stay out. So Jackson's going to leave himself a lot of work to do between now and the end of the race. He'll rejoin in 6th behind Quick Killer. There's anyone else going into the pits? Page doesn't decide to. So we've got 12 left with 16 laps remaining. So the top 10 are all on the lead lap. You can see Jackson's caught up to the pack now. Rosie and Winfield are catching up to them as well. Now, will we see any pit lane activity? Well, Winfield goes in. Gets the car slowed down in time. And he'll go onto a set of soft tyres. He may as well take a gamble. He's got nothing to lose. He'll rejoin behind Page in 9th place. There's Sika Subo. So it's Exotic Alpha in front, Big Boswell second, but as it stands, Max would take the victory as he's got no penalty to his name. Now, Fragile Tunnel's not caught up to the field yet, so I think the safety car's going to go around for one more lap, I would imagine. So we'll go around for one more lap. Oh, and Gameful Odds has crashed out on the start finish straight. Oh, and Fragile Tunnel starts to go round him. I wonder what's happened there then. Has he just lined up the rear tyres and just lost it? Either way, he's not going any further. So we've lost yet another driver in this one. And then there were 11. What a race this has been. We've got 13 laps to go at the end of this one. It's going to be a mad dash to the checkered flag. What will Exotic Alpha decide to do? He's got a 14-second time penalty as well, so he's got to really pull away on the restart. But the problem he's got is that Jackson's going to be on much fresher tyres, so I expect Jackson to make his way through on these guys, as will Winfield and Zubo. And safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So Exotic Alpha once again will sow the field up. And Exotic Alpha, does he decide to go now? The answer is yes, he does. And we're back on the way. And does Jackson get in front of Quick Killer on the restart? The answer is yes, he does it through the centre S. So Jackson's through and up into 5th. Now, that's one car out of the way. Liverpool fan, I don't think he's going to fight it out too much with him. We're watching Rosie as well. So she tries to get through on Quick Killer. Suro goes past Page and up into 9th place. Jackson gets through on Liverpool fan. Next up is Max. There's no way he's going to fight it, to be honest with you, is Max. Unless he really, really wants to. Jackson's penalty is 6 seconds. So Jackson all over the back of the AlphaTauri, who leaves a gap over as Jackson goes through at Beaker de Patley to go up into 3rd place. So Jackson doing a blinder of the restart so well. That's the difference of having fresh, soft tyres. And now he's going to be on the tail of... he's lost it though, as Jackson... And he's lost it again and nearly making contact with another driver. So Jackson pushing too hard there coming out of Yonsau. And it's got Winfield all over the back of it as they fight over 7th place. So Jackson's got to be careful here because he's got a Ferrari to his left. And Winfield, does he get through? The answer is no. Well, Max can breathe a sigh of relief there, as will the leaders. Jackson trying to get back through on Rosie as they fight over 6th place. Jackson's through, no problem. Oh, and that's Sigasubo going for a spin. And he's lost a couple of positions as a result of it. Page has got through on Winfield, who's gone for a spin himself. So Page goes up to 8th. Jackson's in 6th place behind Quick Killer. And Sigasubo gets penalised again for track limits. He's gone off again at turn 8. Now does he continue? He must do, I should think. Now as he reset the car back onto the track, I wonder if he has, to be honest with you. And Jackson right behind Liverpool fan. There's Page in 8th place behind, that's one of the Alpines, but it's not Rosie, it's actually Fragile Tunnel, who is on fresher tyres than a lot of these guys, and he's trying to get back on the lead lap in case we get another safety car. He's got another penalty though coming his way, 3 seconds it is, that's his tally going up to 12. So Exotic Alpha nearly 1 second in front now, so can find a little bit more time on this lap. He may be able to get out of DRS range. They go exiting Yunsao now. And so Jackson gets in front of Liverpool fan again to go up into 4th position. Rear wing open on the Haas. Now he can go after Max's 3rd place once more. As we begin lap 62, Quick Killer making a move on Liverpool fan at the same time. He goes up into 5th. The Big Boss Bells using the rear wing to his advantage as they come down to see the Largo. So Jackson all over the back of Max, and not only would Jackson need to get in front of him, he needs to get in front of Exotic Alpha and Big Boss Bells and pull out a 6-second margin on Max. But he's gone for another spin. He goes for another spin. He's got a penalty. Oh, he's come out into the path of Max. I'm really sorry, but that is all on Jackson. That is so unfortunate for Max. Totally unsighted, and Jackson just spins off the track and nearly took him out of the race. He's damaged Max's front wing as well. So I think there's going to be a penalty coming Jackson's way now. Liverpool fan making contact there with the AlphaTauri, and that's going to allow Rosie to pull alongside, nearly going into the barrier there. So Liverpool fan needs to watch his toes here as Max goes into the pits for a change of tyres. He'll be absolutely livid with Jackson with that manoeuvre. A race win goes beckoning for him. So Liverpool fan goes up to 4th. Quick Killer up to 3rd place now. And as it stands, Quick Killer would win the race, but he needs to stay within 5 seconds of Big Boss Bells here. At the moment, he's just in there, but I think Big Boss Bells' pace is going to see him pull out that 5-second cushion. So it's Big Boss Bells' race to lose right now. So Max rejoins in 10th place behind Sika Zubo. What really could have been for him. So unfortunate. And Jackson got penalised as well. He got 10 seconds worth, so that should drop him down a couple of positions by the finish. So Big Boss Bells with the rear wing open, staying in touch with Exotic Alpha. In fact, he doesn't even need to pass him. He just needs to stay in touch with him. So Winfield passes Page to go up to 7th. Page doesn't fight it out that much. He didn't have DRS on the start-finish straight anyway. Rear wing open on Rosie's Alpine. She's done very well in this race, I have to say, to recover from where she was at the beginning. It could get even better for her. She doesn't even have a time penalty to her name, so as it stands, she would finish 4th ahead of Liverpool fan. But she knows that she'll want more. As we watch the leaders, Big Boss Bells still within a second of him. He's pulled out that crucial 5-second margin on Quick Killer now as well. And just looking at the gap between himself and Rosie, don't think Rosie would win the race because, or she could actually. So as it stands, look at calculating the times, I think Rosie may be able to win this one, but it just depends on penalties, of course. Doesn't get through on Liverpool fan. Jackson continues to get penalised now on 19 seconds worth of penalties. Rosie, can she get through on Liverpool fan? To the inside she goes into the Cedar Largo. She goes up into 4th place. Or does she? Because Liverpool fan is still there. I think Liverpool fan's going to have to concede, otherwise there's going to be contact here through turns 6 and 7. Rosie leaves enough space on the inside. But she gets back through. Amazing move from Rosie. She fights her way past. Jackson's in there as well. And Jackson trying to get through on Rosie into the inside of Big Depart, so he goes through, and that's a clean manoeuvre. So Rosie will just want to stay in touch with him now. A lot of the leaders' tyres are pretty much shot. Now, can Rosie get back in front of Jackson here? I don't think she's going to go for it because she knows Jackson's on fresher tyres. Or will she? Into turn one she goes. Thankfully, no contact made. Rosie will have DRS on the retro apostle back straight. Very close battle this now. As it stands, Big Boss Bells will be the one taking the victory. 6 laps to go. Anything can happen from here on in. He's had his own mistakes. Exotic Alva's made his own mistakes with the track limit penalties he's picked up. So Jackson's in 4th place, continuing to pull away from Rosie now. Max gets through on Seeker Zero to go back up into 9th place. May be able to go for the fastest lap. 2 championship points are on offer for that. So they come up towards the start finish straight now. Liverpool fan still behind Rosie as they go into turn 1. Oh, Rosie's got a penalty now though. To be fair, she's done very well to get up to this point without a penalty, but now she's got one. 3 seconds she's got. She wouldn't lose a position as it stands, but she would in fact gain the position. And someone's gone off in sector 1. It's Seeker Zubo in the Red Bull. Has he left some debris down there? Probably not. Now, will Big Boss Bells decide to go for it here? Now, Quick Killer's over 7 seconds behind, so the only way he could possibly win this is if Big Boss Bells was to get another penalty. He's right behind Exotic Alpha now. Exotic Alpha doesn't really fight it. Big Boss Bells on course for the victory. He's now leading on the road. Will Exotic Alpha fight back though, because he's going to have the DRS down the Retro Aposta back straight. Here we go, look. Liverpool fan gets in front of Rosie for 5th place, but Rosie fights back and holds him off. Brilliant battling between those two. Rosie nearly going off track there as Liverpool fan made contact with her, and that's going to allow Winfield to pull alongside and get through and up into 6th. So Winfield gets through without a problem. As it stands, he'll go up to 5th place with the penalties applied, but he's on fresher tyres than these guys, so he should be able to get through without an issue. And Jackson's through on Quick Killer on the road, so Jackson's through. So 3 laps to go at the end of this one now. We're nearly done with this race. Exotic Alpha into the slipstream. He does get back through on Big Boss Bells to take over the lead once again on the road. I'd love to know how many overtakes we've seen in this race, because we have seen a hell of a lot. Rear wing open on Big Boss Bells' car. Does he decide to go for it into the Cedar Largo? The answer is no, he doesn't really need to anyway. Here's Jackson there looking 3rd place. I think as it stands with his penalty, it would fall down, I would say, at least 5 positions. Now, Fragile Tomo continues to get penalised as well in the Alpine. He's at the back anyway, a lap down, so he wouldn't lose any positions. He's on course to get some points. Now all of the 11 drivers will get points now as they've done enough laps. Big Boss Bells looking to get back into the lead on the roads. They begin the penultimate lap. He stays behind Exotic Alpha again. Now Big Boss Bells will be looking to get back through on Exotic Alpha here. She won't do so through Cedar Largo. Winfield behind Liverpool fan. He gets through and up into 5th. Can he close in on Quick Killer? The gap at the moment between him and the Aston Martin is 3.1 seconds. He's got that under 3 seconds now, so as it stands, he'll be going to the podium. I'm just calculating the times. I don't think he's going to have enough time to go for the victory, but he'll most certainly go to second place. So here's Big Boss Bells approaching Exotic Alpha. These two are about to start the final lap. Exotic Alpha allows Big Boss Bells to go to the outside, and Big Boss Bells into the lead on the road. I don't think Exotic Alpha is going to fight back from that now. So Big Boss Bells, as it stands, will be taking the victory. Winfield is picking up his pace though, so we may want to wait until everyone's crossed the line. But I think Big Boss Bells has done enough anyway. He will not lose his race victory. In fact, his gap over Winfield is 12 seconds, so as it stands, Big Boss Bells will be taking the victory. So after all the dramas we've had in this race, it's been a belter. And in the end, it's a familiar name that's going to take to the top step in the 100% Racing Championship. Big Boss Bells exiting Yunsao through the Subida de boxes, through the kinks, and is going to take victory in the Sao Paulo Grand Prix at Interlagos. Big Boss Bells takes the victory. I think Winfield is going to finish second with the time penalty applied. Exotic Alpha is not going to keep his second place. Winfield will go up there to second. So it's Winfield second, Quick Killer third, Exotic Alpha fourth, Liverpool Fan is fifth, Rosie sixth. I don't think Jackson's going to keep seventh. He's currently seventh at the moment. Page is eighth. Max crossing over the line in eighth place. So Page is down to ninth. Seeker Zubo will be 10th. Fragile Tunnel a lap down in 11th place. The driver who got the fastest lap, that is Jackson. So that's 2 championship points coming his way. Big Boss Bells, who's done it yet again here at Interlagos. What a great race we've had here tonight. And what a recovery drive from Winfield as well to get off into second. I did say he had nothing to lose at the safety car period when he came in for those soft tyres, and it's paid dividends for him. Great job. So your final race result here at Interlagos. Big Boss Bells is the winner. Takes his 4th victory in a row. Winfield second, Quick Killer on the podium. Fantastic race he has had. Exotic Alpha 4th, Liverpool Fan in 5th and from the back of the grid as well. Rosie 6th, Jackson 7th and with the fastest lap points. Max is 8th, Page 9th, Seeker Zubo 10th and Fragile Tunnel the last of the finishers in 11th. The long list of retirements, Gainful Odds crashed out. Wild Dog crashed out. Mays stopped in the pits. Terades crashed out. Bamu crashed out. Eckhart crashed out. Ginge was disqualified after overtaking the safety car when he shouldn't have done so. Leppy crashed out and Leclerc stopped in the pits. Well, after that, Big Boss Bells has a very healthy lead at the top of the championship. He's got 82 points. And I think in second place is Quick Killer. Now 6th place, according to my calculations, that would be enough to get you 16 points. So add 16 to 32 is on 48 points. So the lead that Big Boss Bells has after 2 races is 34 points. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thank you for joining us. We do apologise for the delay that we had earlier, but thankfully we got it done, and it was very much worth the race. It was very much worth the wait for this race that we've had tonight. Do make sure you leave a like and do subscribe to the channel. We can't wait to do it all over again next week. The next venue we'll be doing it at will be at the Rebel Ring in Austria on the 28th of August. Saturday it is for the race. Friday, 7 PM for qualifying. 9 PM British Summer Time on the Saturday for the race. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.